and orange thing that came across the
Branding
timeline.
and identity.
Yeah, that'll be our wrap up. All right. I will put it in here at the end, but from Mark Scheig, of the hockey writers. Um, hockey writers? Yep. Um, he says from the inbox, there was a bid placed on a potential name for Seattle's PWHL team, which is currently unnamed, obviously. The bid is the Seattle Mutiny. Below is the logo associated with the bid. It's just, I'm going to put it here. It's just a recommendation that was submitted. So again, this is not for sure something that's happening. Obviously, folks felt a way about it. I put a quote tweet. I was like, "Hey, what do you think?" Because I don't know. Fans want some input on this stuff, right? It's interesting. Um, I don't know.
I saw it and I tweeted, if you squint and tilt your head a little bit, it looks like the 96 Sonics logo. I think the colors, it's definitely those colors of like that, green, and that's definitely orange. The Sonics were a little bit gold, but that 96 logo is a little bit more orange than it is gold. Um, in my experience as a person who works in nonprofits, who works with consultants a lot, the way that bidding works is that, you send out, you look for a bunch of different firms, designing firms, and you're like, hey, this is what we need. What can you do? Right? Like that's usually what we do for websites is this is our needs. Can we have like a quick meeting? What can you do? What experience do you have with this? So what I'm assuming is happening here is that that was a like an example of what that firm could do.
Mm.
I don't really like the name. I think there is, we're definitely building Seattle sports definitely build their identity based on the culture in Seattle and the geography in Seattle. I think there could definitely be something better. Um, Honestly, I kind of wish the Rainiers name was available because that would sound very cool, Seattle Rainiers, for a hockey team. But yeah, like Mutiny, just it doesn't sound, first of all, it doesn't sound like hockey to me. It does not sound like women's hockey. And I'm not saying to be like, oh, women's hockey has to like be softer or whatever. It just the Mutiny just does not sound like a sports team to me. Also, like you and I texted about it, those colors, we have already seen the Seattle PWHL colors. So there's no there was no green. There was no Sonics colors on the logos that we've seen for this team so far.
Yeah, it's been kind of interesting seeing the reactions to it. If this is any again, in Mark's caption, it said this it's just a recommendation that was submitted, so you don't have to think it's not like the Utah Mammoth where they were like, "Hey, here are the options, like vote." It's not that.
No.
Plus, if we're taking this into account, Women's for Hockey Seattle's account tweeted on several of the tweets. We've been told the name can't be trademarked in the United States or Canada for any other sports team at any level or sports related business, service, apparel, etc. So that makes the choices highly limited. Plus, it's not the team colors. Like, sure, I get that. I guess the Mutiny was an MLS team way back in the day for Tampa Bay, which the MLS team names are fascinating. Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't know about you, Sylvia. Well, I mean, there. It seems like you do have a few. I personally have kind of taken myself out of the name discourse just because, aside of the fact, like the ones that they cannot be, right? Like they're not going to be the Seattle Freeze. One, because of the frost in Minnesota.
Mhm.
Two, I don't imagine they'd want to give the team name of like a negative, because again, the Seattle Freeze is like a negative connotation about how people don't interact with you in Seattle, right? I don't think they'd want to do that. There are some that I think make more sense than others. But I don't know. Like I thought outside of Ottawa, I'm not the biggest fan of the logo or the charge name. I thought the league did a good job with everybody else. I'm a fan of everything else that I see. Um, and they go off of the colors that they originally had um for those teams. So I don't know. I stay out of it. There's some that I think work better than others, but yeah, I mean, going down the list professionally, the Seahawks are supposed to be this sort of falcony bird. The Storm, obviously, I don't have to go into too much about the weather around here. The Mariners, like a marine water. I don't need to explain that. Sounders is kind of funny. Um, Tempest and Cascades kind of go along with weather and the geography around here. The Majestics in the women's tackle football. I don't know where the lion comes from, but they still use blue and green. So there's that. Seattle's cricket team is the Orcas, so we continue with that. The Rain is the logo is obviously very similar to the
You know,
Starbucks like Queen. Hmm?
you want to know a fun fact that I recently realized that I don't follow soccer that isn't like Mexican soccer. But I very recently realized that Seattle Rain isn't spelled Rain.
Mhm.
I did not know that.
The more you know.
The more you know. So we'll start here.
Um, so yeah, I stay out of it, but I just knew with like the different green that they were using that wasn't like the emerald green and then the orange, I was like, this is not gonna go well for some people. I don't know. I'm gonna leave it up to the folks designing it because again, I felt like the PWHL has done a pretty decent job with the other teams. Um, that's what I'm gonna stay out of it. So yeah, man, that's what we've got.